Well, hey, handy people, Dan here. Hey, well, it's a sad day. It's our closing the pool. We've already drained it part way and installed the winter cover. And as you can see from the recent rains, it got very, very, very full of water on top. So I got to get that water off. So I'm gonna put basically we got a little sump pump that I use with a flexible hose, and I run that out outside the pool yard, and that's how I'll drain the cover all winter every time we get an opportunity. I also bought this hose, which I run out to the woods, and yeah, I connect that to here, and I do keep a tool. This socket fits the clamp on the hose, and it fits all of the clamps on the whole pool hose system. So I just have a tool ready. It's just an old small breaker 3/8 with a socket adapter and a socket on there that fits. So yeah, I try to make things as easy as I can, because when you got a lot to do, and this pool is a big pool, I'd say there's hundreds of gallons of water in this cover already, so we got to get some of that off. So let me show you how that's done. Now, one trick I do is, if you look at the bottom of my pump, I've taped it all around so that there's no sharp edges as I deploy this into the pool cover. And I just kind of slide it down in there until she's fully immersed. And as you can see, that it's already sinking the cover because it's heavy. And then we'll see what happens. I've got this float wired up so that when I stand this up, and this has got a little handle I try to grab with this, as I stand it up like that, it allows me to keep that oriented even though it's not in the water. It's up so that it will be engaged. Okay, let's plug this in and see what happens. Success. The pump is drawing the water down, and she's putting some water out. There'll be a minor flood over here, but fortunately I have very good drainage. We have sandy, loamy soil underneath the topsoil, and so this water will disappear quickly. But like I say, thousands of gallons, or at least hundreds, are on top of this pool now. So anxious to get that off. We have had some rain. So a tool I found extremely helpful is this 2.5 inch 64 millimeter pipe cutter. It's made for cutting PVC pipe, and also it does a wonderful job of cutting this 2.5 inch spa hose that I use throughout my pool. What I find is at the end of the year, this is really makes short work, because I just take this thing and getting as close as I can, and I'm going to put the phone down before I do this, but I get it as close as I can to where the bib is that this is attached to, and I try to cut it off flush with that. Again, not trying to cut that, but I click it a few and I give it a little twist, and it neatly cuts through, and that's winterized. Now this one I used to cut off, but I don't need to now, because last time I added this drain Over here, I've got a drain there in the low spot too, and a drain there. So that this is a solar heating setup that I have using 1.5-inch sprinkler pipe, but it's the water, what do they call it, potable water version. So I take all the plugs out of this and let it drain as well. And yeah, now right now I've got the pump, the pool pump is draining into, I have a drain pan, and I've got everything open there. I've got to take a couple more things apart. There's a couple of small screws down here and one on the side that I'll take out, and that'll let the remainder of the water drain out of this system. Then I'll break this here. I will cut this. I'll cut this pipe right here. You see I've got extra, so I can maybe get 1 more year out of that piece of Spaflex. Bear in mind that Spaflex is very expensive, and I try to save as much as possible. And you can actually get a double bib and you actually use pieces of hose, but eventually you got to replace it. But like I say, it's not cheap, and you want to try and save as much as possible. You can see how much has dropped. We've dropped her down at least 3-4 inches, maybe 5 inches, and she's still going. And she's still pumping. So I'll just let it pump. I'll leave. I've disconnected what I'm going to disconnect for this time, and yeah, we're getting her winterized slow but sure. The next process is in here, getting this. I'm going to take the whole pump motor off. I changed up my system on it. I used to hardwire it in, and now I've gone with a 220 plug, because this is a 220 volt setup and it's 1.5 horses. And I just plug it in. I wired in an outlet for the 220, and this is a twist lock that goes in that. And that makes it easier for me to take this apart and take just that part and that part into the house for the winter. I have to put it in the basement. So, yep. I got 2 more cuts to make with my handy dandy cutters. I'm going to cut this here, and I may just cut this in the middle, because these are not leaking, and I can put an extension on that easy enough in the spring. So I'll probably cut that right in the middle. And then I'm going to cut this hose down here right close. Heavy duty stuff, it's hard to work with, but I find that the double clamps, and there's a white PTFE goo that I put on everything. You can see traces of it here. I'll butter up the barbs I will heat the spa hose with a torch, and when it's the spa, try not to burn it. The spa hose gets heated up, and you can see here how hot I get it. I mean, there's an example. It got a little bit warm there. Might have started to catch on fire. I blow it out, but the idea is nice and warm, and it slides right over that PTFE paste on the barb, and then you crank down 2 opposing hose clamps, and I found that makes a pretty darn good leak-proof seal. The issue is, you go to try to just pull this hose off of here, you'll pull your arm out of the socket. So what I've learned is, normally I'll cut it real close here, but this doesn't have really enough. Well, maybe it does, but this is a toughie because I got this 90 degree I had to add. But I think I'm going to just cut it here and then put a straight piece to connect the two. But anyways, once I cut this, if I were just trying to remove this section, I would cut it close here, and then I would get, have a right at the very end of where this barb is in the hose, and you can kind of tell, you could kind of see where it's bulged. So you cut, say there, right around in there, and then you're going to take these 2 clamps off, and the remaining piece will be just sitting on there, and then I cut it with a razor knife like in this direction, and then finally I can get a screwdriver under it and in it and pry off the old piece. But I'll do that in the spring. Winter's pretty quick shut down. Fall shutdown is pretty quick. It's not winter yet, but it's coming. And I do like to bring this tank in, and I do like to power wash it if I get an opportunity and weather permits before I put it away, because that's your filter, and that's where all the goop is and all the gobbledyes are in there. So I'll get to cutting this, and yeah, show you how that's done. So this upper hose, I cut it right in about the middle. There's enough room in there to, I think, and if not, I'll cut both ends off and put a new piece in there. I might just do that. It just depends in the spring where I'm at and timing. It's a short piece, so I'm not losing a lot. This one down here I'm going to try and reuse, because as you can see where it's cut there, I've got another, at least one more season where I could use this hose, and it's getting old, but that stuff works. And it doesn't leak if you do it right. Now you'll notice on this one, this is the outlet that I turn on and off with this valve that dumps water. I have an underground drain that runs out into my woods. And so when I need to back flush the filter, that's when I power back flush, that's what I do. I open that up and it goes out there. And you'll notice those are just single clamps on there. I use the same heat thing because it makes it easier to put together. But because there's no real pressure in this line, because at the other end of it's open, I don't need to. It stays sealed, so it works just fine. So there you have it. How I winterize my pool. Yeah, pools can be a lot of work, but you can simplify some of that work, and I think that's the key. So hey folks, thanks for watching. I hope it makes a little bit of sense what I'm doing, and I hope that it may help you get your pool taken care of. Listen, I'm no rocket scientist. I do this stuff. I've learned trial and error the hard way and whatever, so I'm hopefully helping you. One other thing I forgot to mention was this cover is a brand new cover that we just bought this year. So this thing, it was like, I don't know, $100. I used to take and buy better covers that were like $150, but we'd end up, I'd put them up on my hill. I got a nice hill over here that I'll turn and you'll be able to see that hill right there where my cars are parked up in there. I'd lay the cover on there and then I'd power wash it. And then I'd try to dry it out and then put it away for the whole summer, and I'd bring it out and it stunk and it was nasty. And so my daughter, who's pretty smart, she says, "Dad, why are you doing that?" She said, "You don't have to. You can just go buy a new cover every year." And you know what? She was right. We get done. I pull the cover in the spring. I dump all, because it gets a lot of gobbledygook on it from leaves and rains and everything. When I pull the cover, then I just discard it. Yes, people say it's wasteful. Well, I use a pool cover every other year, or a pool cover every year. It's not a huge waste difference, but it's a time saver. So I do love our pool. We've had many years. This pool is going on 20 years. It's had 2 liners. It's a beaut. And in the summer, in the warm months, it's just fantastic. So anyways, thanks for watching. Remember, if I can do it, you can too. Hey folks, thanks for watching. Remember, be cool, take care of your pool, stay in school, and handy people rule. Here's the filter housing. I mean the filter tubes, and as you can see, my son did a great job using just a hose and a hose sprayer, and it cleaned it up nicely. So it's going to be sitting here all winter, protected and dry. So that's real important, and ready for reinstallation. Note that this thing had, I don't know how many screws, but quite a few. You can see by the holes, each one of those was a nut and a bolt. And I found that a powered screwdriver or a powered wrench really makes quick work of that. They're stainless steel screws, and you got to remove those to get the top off. We left the housing intact because it's got a lot of hose connections out in the pool house. Here's the pool pump assembly. We've disconnected. Obviously, it was unplugged. We've also drained it completely and brought it indoors for the winter. I like to protect this from severe temperature changes because this motor, it was expensive, and they seem to last a lot longer if you take care of keeping them dry and climate controlled. So everything's removed from this tank, and it's dry. And you can see we've hung our winter bicycles for the winter. Yeah, the pan's dry. Everything's dry out here. All of the connections are dry. So we're fully winterized. And other than maintenance for the pool sump, which you can see laying there, we're ready, unfortunately, for winter. Hey folks, thanks for watching. I hope that this helped. I hope it helps you. Makes your job of getting your pool taken care of a little bit easier. I know 20 years of doing this, I figured out a few ways to cut some time. Hopefully that helps you. Anyways, if you like it, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.